Hi, I'm Dr. Caroline Leaf, and welcome to my podcast, Cleaning Up the Mental Mess. In last week's podcast, I spoke about how we can actually control how others' words and actions get stored inside of our brain, which is really great to know because if it's stored in your brain, it affects how you function and it can affect your mental health. So if people are being toxic towards you or saying things to you that you don't want inside of you, you can actually block that. And I gave you a 3-step process for doing it. And in this podcast, I'm going to recap those 3 steps and I'm going to give you an example so you know how to actually apply it in your life. Okay, so the 3 steps to blocking others' words and actions from building inside of your brain is to, first of all, just recognize and acknowledge how it's making you feel. The 4 warning signals I always talk about. In other words, how you feel, how you feel in your body, what it's making you do and say, and then the perspective. And then make that into a statement. And then that's the first thing. Then the second thing you do is reconceptualize a counter or antidote statement. How you're going to, and it could be a couple of statements about how you're going to handle the situation. The third thing is to visualize yourself covered in a coat of armor, and like a coat of armor can deflect all the darts and all this, the lances poking at you and so on. You're protected. Imagine that. So as those persons' words and actions, as electromagnetic waves hit you, they will bounce off instead of being absorbed into you. And then the fourth thing is to add a kindness and compassion statement to yourself so that you don't feel guilt or shame, because sometimes other people's toxic words and things can make you feel guilt or shame. So as you do this, you're wiring in a network in your brain. You practice it. You don't just do this once. You practice it as many times as you can. And the more you do it, the more you're going to make this stronger and stronger. And that then this toxic situation that you are scared of encountering, or that's making you wary or you're anxious about, is going to become weaker and weaker and weaker because you're reconceptualizing it into that's how they used to speak, but this is now how you're going to respond. So in other words, you change your wiring of your brain going into that situation. And when you're in that situation, you're going to draw on this. And this is now weak, so this dominates, versus if you didn't do it, this will dominate and you'll just react in the same way and make it worse. Okay, so here's an example to see how to apply that. I'm going to give you a statement. So let's say, for example, you know that you go into a situation and you know that person is jealous of your success. And maybe they love you and they're a close friend or work colleague or family member or something like that. And you know they love you, but you know they're jealous. And you know it's been a long-standing jealousy, and in their eyes, you've been successful and they haven't, or they determine their success by comparing to you, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. So every situation is always this like weariness. So let's do the first part. What are the emotional warning signals? Can you anticipate going in? So there's a sense of being hurt, maybe being irritated by what's the kind of snide comments that person will say if they ask you how things are going and you share you say what you're doing, and then there's these little snide comments, and you know that that's hurtful. So you acknowledge that. It's irritating because you just wish you could, kind of relax around this person. What are your behaviors? Well, you're wary, you're withdrawn, you can't relax around that person, you're guarded in what you say. And then in your body, maybe there's a tightness in your chest, or maybe a little bit of gut ache, or maybe a bit of shoulder tension. And then perspective is this complete wariness of this person. So going in with a sense of wariness. Okay, so you acknowledge that, you make that a statement. I feel like this, my body feels like this because of this. And that acknowledges it, brings this up and weakens it. Now you can create a little counter statement. Okay, so, and the counter statement is that's the second part. You're going to reconceptualize. Okay, this person, so you say, okay, this person is feeling this. I think, could be assuming, but I think it's because maybe they feel like they haven't achieved what they wanted to achieve, and they live their life by comparison, which is just such a difficult way to live. And instead of looking at what they've got, they look at what they don't have. And, and that's not, that's something sad, and I don't have to let that affect me, that their attacks are really against themselves, but not against me. And as I'm saying that, as you're saying that, you're building that into your brain as this network, this is becoming weakened. And you can say as much as you need to say and as much detail as you need to say. And then you can say that your little action will be, if they start attacking you, you'll block it by countering it. Your counter statement will be, oh, wow, tell me about you. I heard you did this and this, and find something and then build them up in that way. So you make that plan, you build that person up and praise them, and then only share a little bit, not a lot. don't hold back, but don't maybe share as much or something with that person about your life. And so you plan this. This is all pre-planned. It's all getting wired in. You're changing your brain in preparation. And then the third part is to visualize. Visualize that coat of armor. So as you go into that situation, and I told you in the last podcast to, maybe go and look at a picture of a suit of armor or something and visualize yourself in that. And that's adding another layer of strength, giving this even more energy. So as you're in that situation, this is stronger and it moves into your conscious mind from your non-conscious and drives the situation. And also you visualize, just see yourself in that coat of armor as they're talking and throwing the barbs, and don't listen to what they're saying or just block what they're saying by imagining a visualizing this coat of armor, and their words are these energy fields, because they are, they're electromagnetic energy fields. And they, instead of going in you, they're bouncing off you, they're bouncing back. And then also in your preparation, there's a lot of kindness. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay if you feel sad. You want to be able to share. This is someone you care about. You want to tell them, not because you're boasting, but because you're excited or something. And it's okay to feel like that. And it's okay to feel hurt. So you build in a statement. Those words that I'm saying are wiring in, and it's building in as a statement. So now when you go in that situation, you're prepared and you can walk through all of those little things you've practiced. You can handle those in the situation. And very often what happens is when you're in that situation and you've prepared this little initial plan, you'll find yourself adding to the plan on the spot. So as the person's throwing little snide comments, etc. at you, in this particular example, you can then think of, I could also say that, I could also say that, I could also say that. I could say something to encourage them, could be part of my antidote. And then you maybe interrupt them and say something to encourage them, and that neutralizes the situation. So I hope that helps you, because I know that this can be very hard going into holiday season and at any time of the year, mixing with in any kind of social situation, family, friends, work, whatever, where there are people that you just know. They may not even be saying it very directly, this passive aggressiveness, that kind of thing. It's just very uncomfortable. And this is a way that you can protect yourself and not let those words from that person wire into your own brain, affecting you.